We've arrived here in northern Idlib province this morning. We've been here for the past several hours. We've had the opportunity to visit some people who have been recently displaced from southern Idlib. At least 700 families had arrived in northern Idlib overnight due to continued Russian and regime attacks. The people that we spoke with are distraught, they're confused, they're scared, they're hungry and tired. Some of them described having to escape their homes under fire. They said that they were being attacked with aerial bombardment, with rockets and jet attacks and barrel bombs even, attacking hospitals and schools and mosques and civilian areas. And they described also being attacked while they were leaving. They left in convoys, and they said that the aircrafts that were used to target the civilians were actually targeting the convoys with machine guns as they were leaving. They've arrived here in northern Idlib, and the people that we saw today are living under some olive trees with very few supplies and very little resources. They told us also that some people who have relatives here in northern Idlib are living with their relatives if they can find. There's not many vacant homes or even tents for people to live in. Local officials here in northern Idlib are telling us there's about 700,000 people that have been displaced in the recent offensive. There's over 7,000 families that they've documented that don't have shelter until now. There's very little to speak of in terms of international aid or humanitarian aid. We were told by a local official that about 50 emergency ration kits were distributed, but that number is so small compared to the huge amount of people that are in need of all things, including food, shelter, and medical attention.
And Obaida, the numbers you're describing there are very alarming, and it is 3 million people, isn't it, that live in this region. You say some of them are living, very sadly, under olive trees without many supplies or anything. But where are the rest of the people going? Where can they go even?
So the people who have arrived to northern Idlib, as I mentioned, are finding different ways, to take shelter. The unlucky ones are the ones that are having to stay under the trees. The problem is that we're hearing from the people here, the officials that we've spoken with, is that if more people come to northern Idlib, there's nowhere for them to go. There's no shelters ready. There are not camps organized for more people to come, and there's not really anything to speak of in terms of infrastructure or resources to meet the needs of a large influx of refugees. Now, there's 3.7 million people, according to some estimates, living in Idlib province. There's already 1 million people living in Atma directly behind me. And it's a very densely populated refugee camp that was built up around a town. Atma was a small town. Now it's become a city that is very densely populated. We drove through it to get into this part of Idlib. It's very hard to maneuver, filled with men, women, and children living in untraditional conditions, but people don't have anywhere else to go. People are coming to this part of northern Idlib, close to the Turkish border, because they consider it a safe place. And when I asked people what they were going to do if this was no longer a safe place, they said that they were going to do anything that it took to get out, to go to Turkey, to go to Europe. They just wanted to find a safe place to stay. And Idlib, at least for now, in this part of Idlib is safe, but southern Idlib is not a place for them to stay, and that's why they're coming towards this area.